On this week's episode of the Author's Exchange, Destiny Revealed.
Oh, he's calling out Harry Potter. Oh no, oh no.
He's 11 years old. Really? There's a shipwreck on an island and a baby gets raised by monkeys and becomes a hero? I don't think so. It's just not real.
Well, let's. I think that's a very astute point to make.
The Author's Exchange. Your host, Captain Christopher German. Brought to you by The Charted Life. And sponsored by Whither We Tend, a novel by Captain Christopher German. Welcome to The Author's Exchange. Hey there, this is Captain Christopher German coming to The Author's Exchange. We do this program once a week, airs on Fridays at noon. And this week we have some really cool people to talk to. In fact, one incredible cool person I want to talk to. He's the guy that wrote Destiny Revealed. This is a book. It's a young adult book, and it features the lives of two teenagers, Jack and Maddie, and they have something very, very special. But I'm not going to tell you about the book. I'm not going to tell the story. It's not my job to tell the author's tale. It's the author's job to tell the author's tale. And luckily, we have the guy that can do it better than anybody else. He is just about to introduce himself. Hey, Chris, why don't you say hello, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your book?
Hi, everyone. My name is Cris Pasqueralle. I live here on Long Island with my wife and grown children, who are almost out of my house, thank God. One gone, one to go. And I am the author of the Destiny Trilogy. Book 1 is Destiny Revealed. Book 2 is Paths of Destiny. And Book 3 is Quest for Destiny. In Destiny Revealed, we meet 13-year-old twins, Jack and Maddie Austin, who have just found out that they are wizards. But before questions can get answered, their parents are kidnapped by an evil wizard named Tardon and taken to a magical realm. The twins, aided by their Uncle Benny, return to the magical realm. They learn about their powers and a special destiny that they have while they embark on a rescue mission to save their mom and dad. Now,
let me interrupt you there for a sec, because this is where you caught me when I was reading this book. Is destiny. You use the word destiny in all three of the books, and I kind of get it, because it is these children's destiny that they need to learn about, and that's kind of the whole purpose of this book. But why did you choose the term destiny instead of like inheritance, or what is the meaning of destiny in this whole thing for you?
Well, okay. See, that goes back to how I lay the books out. I believe we have a destiny. I believe we all have a destiny. Okay, but I also believe that destiny is aided. You're fated to accomplish something. How you go about it, that's up to you. The path you take to get there is entirely up to you. The choices that you make to get to your destiny. But destiny is also aided by people around you. That's why I have a mom and dad intact. That's why they have a strong sibling relationship, family. The people around you, your support, they all help you to reach that destiny, whether your destiny is just to one day be the parent of a great child, which seems to be what Jack and Maddie's parents' destiny was. Or is your destiny to save all the realms of existence from evil? Maybe. I don't know. Read the book. You'll find out.
You wanted to create a book that was really different from other young adult books, and specifically because you don't kill mom and dad off in this.
No, that is
something I think. Well, tell me about that. What made you decide to write a book that was different than all the rest? I haven't read every young adult book that's out there, but I do. I've picked up a couple of them, and yet there's a tendency to have a lot of pushback. Now, there is some pushback in this book against adult authority, but you also wanted to show a lot of love between the kids and the parents. Why did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah. As kids grow, I'm a parent. I've had pushback from my children their whole life. That's how they grow and learn. But it doesn't mean that you don't need a support. It doesn't mean that you can grow and learn on your own, but still have the support behind you, that safety net, so to speak.
But you were a cop for a long time, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little about your experience as a police officer and how that kind of colored your view on how parents play with their kids and all that kind of stuff. I imagine you had a lot of work, dealing with families and stuff like that. Talk to me about that.
I mean, there's a lot of times you do have to step into a family dispute, or you have the runaway kid and you got to talk to them and find out, you just play a lot of roles as a police officer, and a counselor is one of them. We're not always equipped to do that. But what I found, and it's consistent, no matter what degree the kid takes it to, if the kid takes it to the ultimate degree and runs away from home, and, that's a different story. But the pushback when they left the house and they're gone for a couple hours and mom and dad get worried and you got to go find them, that's all part of growing up, I think. And, you're trying to find yourself and make your own rules and make your own way of living, but you're living under somebody else's rules. And that's where the pushback happens. And that's okay. That's healthy. As long as it's respected by both parties. I mean, even the parents, you can't just say it's my way or the highway, it's do this or don't, it doesn't work that way. It has to be a mutual respect. You got to understand your kid is growing and wants to be things and do things on their own. At the same time, yes, I do have certain rules in my house and I expect you to respect them. And that's also part of growing up, because anywhere you go, you're not going to go to a job and do your own thing. You're not going to go into somebody else's house and do your own thing. You still have to respect the certain rules. And that's all part of growing up. But the pushback is natural, and I don't see why in so many of these stories, they have to have the kids out on their own.
Aspects of this book that's really appealing to not just the young adult crowd, but it's also the parents of young adults, because it looks at a relationship between children and adults, which is decidedly different, I think, than what most literature handles these days. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I think you get it more now. Honestly, I think there's a big divide. I think people are trying to push for kids to be out on their own. Oh, don't rely on your parents. You can do this and you can do that. No, you can't. Come on, you still gotta learn and grow, and I guess it's an emotional growth. I mean, you get to a point where, oh, he's an adult. Why? Because he's 6'2"? No, he's 14 years old. He's still, the emotional growth isn't there, and I don't think you get enough support that way. And I don't think throwing even a fictional character into the world on their own is helpful or realistic, or doesn't teach a lesson to the people who are reading these things. I mean, they understand it's fiction and it's a story, but there still should be something based in reality. And I think what I base in reality is that, mom and dad are important in your lives. Your brothers and sisters are important in your lives. Your adult figures are role models for a reason. If you think you're doing something for the first time as a child, trust me, you're not. You're not. You didn't invent it. We've been there, we've done that, and we can teach you how to get through it.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about some other things about this book, because you have a whole series going on right now, and this is actually a little empire you have building you for yourself. But let's take a quick break right now, and I want to show you guys the trailer that he has for Destiny Revealed. It's a stab at what it could be like visualized. And that'll help you understand, I think, some of the characters, maybe put a little face on those characters for you. So let's take a look at that real quick. And when we come back, we'll talk about him trying to option this book for a movie. So stand by, and here you go.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream, my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio.
Maddie? Jack? Come inside, please. You guys have a visitor.
Uncle Benny!
Maddie, happy birthday. Jack, happy birthday.
You made it. I knew you'd make it.
Good to see you guys. Oh, thank goodness that's over.
Excuse me?
I mean, it's a great party.
So, do you think you two can handle one more gift?
What do you think, sis?
Well, maybe just one more.
Go ahead, open it.
Happy birthday. Always believe in who you are, your friends, Stanton.
Who's Stanton?
Stanton is an old friend.
You know what? Open your gift, and then afterwards we'll talk about some things.
Oh, hey, there's a note.
Read it.
The earth will revolve around the sun until that time when the sun is done. Then the revolution will be none, as their great power becomes one. I don't get it. What does that mean?
That means that those necklaces are very special, and you should never take them off. It also means that you too are very special, and you have a great destiny.
Go downstairs and hide! Now!
Sorry, Don. I knew you'd come eventually.
Well, you should have been better prepared. Enough of this! You fool! You cannot protect them from me. Give them to me or I will kill their parents!
Military leaders have always made a statement in the way they went to war. Napoleon had his steed, while Genghis Khan led his troops into battle with a hawk at his side. Then there was Hannibal and the ancient warriors of India who fought atop the majestic elephant. In Whither We Tend, the chosen machine of war is not a battleship or a tank. It's not a plane or even a Humvee. For Major Gus Spiros, the chosen vehicle that takes them to war is the ubiquitous yet modest recreational vehicle. Major Gus Spiros, like all great American leaders, makes the best use of what he has. And for Gus, that's a ragtag bunch of angry Trailerites who travel from Pennsylvania to Florida to Montana in a convoy of Airstreams, pop-ups, schoolies, and fifth wheels. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything that happens in this book because that would take away the fun of reading it. But what you should know is there are some really fun things that happen in this book, and there's some really scary things that happen too. And I invite you to take a look at Whither We Tend. Available in all the major retail outlets, as well as on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and of course at thechartedlife.net. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, what did you think of that, folks? That was the teaser for Destiny Revealed, and the reason why there's a teaser out there is Chris is trying to leverage this movie and put this into a visual format. That's what a lot of us authors are trying to do, is kind of create the best picture. And Chris is actually trying to get some movie people to pick this thing up so that he can tell his story in a whole nother way. Chris, tell me about the processing. A lot of new authors are envisioning that, I'm sure. How did you happen into, the idea of making this a movie, and where are you at in the process?
Well, a friend of mine is in the movie business, has been for 35 years. He's been asked to direct a few episodes of a TV show, and he needed to make a reel to show them what he could do as a director. So we took a chapter of the book. We made a 5-minute teaser reel. I mean, it's still kind of rough, as you can see. We got to add some things to it. But we've taken that teaser reel, and I've shown it to several producers. I've got it out there. It's out on YouTube. We're showing what we can do. What I would like to do, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing a film, obviously. I would like to do, say, a Netflix or Hulu, Amazon type TV series, because this is geared towards ages 9 and up. And that's what they do. They watch these shows through streaming devices. They're constantly on their phone and they watch TV that way. I'd like to get it across that way. We've talked to producers. We've talked to directors. We've talked to several people. We never get to that stage of funding. I mean, that's the point we're at now. That's where everything gets hairy. And then, of course, with the way the world has been turned upside down, people are leery to jump in because they don't know what the rules are going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, you've got clearly a pretty good talent for writing, which we have to talk about how you got from a cop to being a writer. I want to hear that story. But how do you envision telling the story versus my wife is one of these people. She says, I never liked the movies as much as the books because I like to make up my own mind about things. I like to have my own imagery on how the characters look and how they're handling situations, all that kind of stuff. How do you envision taking somebody like Jack. Jack's he's a very dominant young man, and he's got his own little ticks. You know he's got his own little persona, and he's got his own little ways of talking, and he's got all that developed even at his young age. How do you envision embodying that into a character, and who would play him, do you think?
Well, I don't know who would play him. I'm one of these people. I watch TV shows, I watch movies, and I watch the same show every week. I can't tell you the names of the actors who are in the show. I know what he looks like if I see him on something else. But, oh, that guy's from that. I don't know the names. I'm not good with that. So what I do envision is Jack is the kid that you like to pal around with, who's going to be a lot of fun, but sometimes you just want to slap him in the back of the head. And he's very much me. He's very much me. I was that kid. But what I visualize him as is, preteen who's he'll run into the fire without realizing that it's hot. Meanwhile his sister will be grabbing him by the back of the shirt being, those are flames, guy. What are you doing? So I have them balance each other very well. As I writing the story though, I do it all the time. And I don't know if it was because somewhere inside me I want this to be a visual thing, but I do envision certain actors in certain roles when I'm going through. Like I see Billy Crystal as Uncle Benny. I don't know why when I wrote it, that's what I saw. That's Billy Crystal.
See, I got Robert De Niro. I thought like Robert De Niro has got that quiet power about him, but he could be kind of like he could be a hard ass, but he could also kind of be laid back and say, hey, it's okay sometimes. And say, Benny lets Jack go. If you haven't read the book yet, you really need to take a look at the book. But Benny lets Jack get away with a lot of things that he really ought to just pop him in the teeth for, but he doesn't do that.
Yeah. My father was very good at the lean forward in the chair. What did you say? I didn't have to get the smack in the head. I got the message from Dad. I once asked him, Dad, what was the plan when you lean forward in the chair? He goes, nothing. I have nothing. You guys never called me on it. All right, now I know that.
I pulled all these characters and all these creatures from actual mythology and playing between the wizardry world and with Sasquatches and gnomes and all the other stuff like that. That is a level of interpersonal communication that no child can ever properly be trained for in normal functions. But these kids, they handle it, and Benny's kind of their tour guide of the interstellar denominations. Talk to me about that. I mean, how did you envision taking a normal kid and dumping him into mystical land?
Well, Jack is focused on a single goal. Jack wants to get his parents back and get out of there. He's not enamored of this world. He doesn't care that he may have a great destiny. He wants his mother and father back. He wants to go back to his life. Where his sister, on the other hand, is, wait, this is pretty cool. We could do this and we could do this kind of stuff. And she's more open to being a wizard than Jack is. Jack's a single focused person. This is my goal. Right now, the goal is get mom and dad saved, get them home, we're done. And that's his focus. That's why the other things don't distract him around him. He doesn't get enamored of it. He's not in awe of all the things that he can do or what's around him because of the single focus to accomplish the one task.
Well, let's talk about their parents a little bit, because I don't think we don't get a lot of time talking to their parents in the first book. No. Do they come out as bigger characters in the second books?
Yeah, you learn a lot about their background and what brought them to where they are here, and who they really are, as far as in the whole realm of everything, that they play a very important role. They're not just the parents of the destined ones. They have significant things to contribute. They have a background that enables them to help the destined ones get their destiny. They've been through things. Their family has been through things, separated. Jack's father his family is part of the evil side of things, and he doesn't want to be part of that. And those are relationships that they've learned from and have taken steps to raise their children the way they did because of what they've been through.
Well, we got to take a little bit of a break, pay some bills, and come right back. When we come back, I'm going to ask him a little bit about how he got into the whole writing gig, about his life as a cop, and we're going to hear how his family thinks about things. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. More than a century ago, Kenneth Ransom set out to sail the Great Loop of the United States. He did it in a boat he built himself with a couple of his friends, and he thought, you know what, this is just a cool little way to get around the United States. Well, he set up an entire industry, an entire world that people have been exploring ever since, and they've written at least 100 million books about it of all different titles. Well, we're going to make a movie about it, and we're going to call it The Great Loop. It's going to be a docuseries that involves 5 teams of sailors that we're going to select, teach them to sail, and put them in a brand new Catalina 42, just like this one. Well, we're going to hope that you like us on Facebook because it's coming down the pipe, but we're trying to find some help to make it happen. So give us a like on Facebook at The Great Loop Movie, and if you'd like to get involved, send us an email at info@thechartedlife.net. I'm Captain Christopher German for The Charted Life, and we are getting ready to set sail on the Great Loop. Hey, welcome back. This is Cris Pasqueralle. Say it again. Last name one more time.
Pasqueralle.
Pasqueralle. I have such a tough time with that name. Cris Pasqueralle, author of Destiny Revealed, and it's a 3-book trilogy. And we're talking to him today about all the different aspects of the characters in this book. But this little segment, I want to talk about, Chris. I want to talk about he was a cop for a bunch of years, and he transitioned into writing. And I want to talk about the process of how he decided to publish. But I also want to hear about his daughters because they were a big part of this book. So let's start off with Chris. Tell me a little bit about why did you decide to. Did you retire from being a cop? Did you leave the cop world? What made you to branch out into the writing world?
Well, writing's always been a part of me since I was a kid. I've always done that. I never thought of it as a career. It was always just something, I did to, as an outlet. I got injured as a police officer. I have a steel plate and screws holding my spine together, and I wasn't able to do that anymore. The writing of Destiny Revealed came about. My kids are big Harry Potter fans, as anybody of that age group pretty much is. But as the Harry Potter series ended and there seemed to be a move towards vampire books, my daughters didn't really like that. And I started thinking about this story, another wizard story kind of popped in my head. And I thought, okay, well, what if there's a whole family? Well, what if there's twins? And I bounced it off my older daughter. And she's like, Dad, just write it down. Just write it down. And it grew from there. It was an attempt to fight back against the vampires, I guess.
Do you have a little section you'd like to read for us by any chance?
I'm just going to read the description on the back of the book.
Go for it. Let's hear it. Your voice. Yes.
On the day of their 13th birthdays, twins Jack and Maddie Austin receive a special gift from their Uncle Benny, 2 necklaces, along with a note shrouded in secrecy. The celebration is interrupted by 3 intruders led by the evil being Tardon, who kidnaps the twins' parents. Uncle Benny manages to escape with the twins and later reveals the truth behind both their gifts and their identities. Jack and Maddie are powerful wizards from the magical realm. Now they are faced with the decision of a lifetime. They must return to that realm, rescue their parents, and save all the realms from imminent doom.
No pressure, kids. Just go out and save the world. That's all you got to do.
It's a joke. When I was a cop, it was a joke. We would be getting dressed, and I'd pat my partner on the back when we were ready to go. I'd be like, come on, partner, let's go save the world. And I said it every day. And it just became a thing that I used. So it was kind of
and it made it into your book.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so talk to me. You published this thing with Cosby Media Productions.
Yes.
Talk to me about the publishing. How did you get the thing published? A lot of independent authors are thinking about writing right now, and I think that's one of our big audiences is people that are interested in getting into the whole publishing thing. How did you do it?
Luck, because I self-published. I self-published on Kindle Direct Publishing on Amazon, and they found me.
Oh,
and,
yeah?
Braxton Cosby read the book, got in touch with me and said, there's some errors in it. I'd like to clean it up. We'd like to do this. So we pulled the book off Amazon. They redid the cover. We reworked the editing, and we signed with them. And hopefully it'll go where it's got to go. But that was an accident.
Well, that's got to help with. Well, hey, accidents are sometimes the best opportunities, aren't they? But that's also a good way to potentially leverage the book too and get it into a movie. Is if you get it into a production house, but you did it with Kindle. You did it as a self-publisher, and there's promise in the self-publishing industry that the right person will find the book, and that's why you got to share your references and get yourself out there and get yourself known. And it's a full-time job publishing the book after you publish the book, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The whole marketing thing is, even though I have a publisher behind me, I'm still nobody. You know, if I was Stephen King, they'd be out there hawking everything, but I'm not.
So that leads us to our final question, which I'm trying to get into every episode. This is our second episode of the Authors Exchange. And I have to say, you're part of the Authors Exchange Facebook group, which is exactly what you're talking about, is authors helping authors, and let's all work together to make something big happen. But what is your advice for the newbie author that may be checking out this page right now and seeing that, you're doing pretty darn good with this book? How many books have you sold? Do you know?
Around 10,000 mark, I think. Close to.
That's a pretty good, that's a pretty good number of books. You're doing pretty darn good with this. And you're also thinking about getting a movie. So this is a very successful book. And I think by all accounts, as an independent author, you're doing pretty damn good for yourself. So what would be your advice to somebody that is aiming to do similar things to what you're doing? How would you advise them if they were asking you right now?
And first off, when you got to write. Just write every day. Don't worry about that. It doesn't sound good. Just get it out there. Write it down. Get yourself an editor. I don't care if you are the top of the English department at Harvard University and you can pick out a spelling error from the most obscure word. Get somebody else to look at it. Another pair of eyes finds things that you do not see. Get through that process. And if you're going to self-publish, there's nothing wrong with self-publishing. It's not as expensive as it sounds. It's the marketing afterward. It's what are you going to do with it? Be willing to talk to everybody and anybody. Carry copies of your book in your car. I waited tables for a lot of years after I retired from the police department. There's always a copy of the book in the car, and I would talk to people and be like, "Oh, I'd like to read that. I got a copy for you right here." Carry them in your car. Flea markets, street fairs, they all rent tables out. Go there with your books. You don't have to be selling hot dogs to be at a street fair. You can sell books.
Do you find part of the sales process with the books is actually being the author and showing them the book? Do you get a little bit more street cred that way?
I think so. I think they see that there's a real person behind it. I think they like talking to authors. I think you got to connect with people. They don't want they're not buying from a corporation that way. They say, "Oh, this is a local guy." Wow, you went to Hicksville High School. I go to Hicksville High School. I can write a book one day. Those are great things. Those are great things to interact with. Talk to them, people. There are also, it's another outlet that I found valuable. School teacher groups on Facebook. School teachers would love for you to do a Zoom in their classroom and talk about writing books. Read a chapter of your book to them. Anything that gets kids interested in reading, teachers are all for. And if you're an author and you write up a biography and send it out to these schools, and they'll do a Zoom meeting with you. That's great. They'll get you involved in their book fairs at school, which, hopefully we'll get back to that one day. But the technology is there to get to the world on your own. You can get to the world.
I think that is stellar advice, sir. Yeah, I think that is the truth of the matter is that, you've demonstrated that this works. And that's why I'm so glad that you came on this podcast and we got to talk to you, because quite frankly, Destiny Revealed is a great case study in self-publishing, and he's such a great guy. Cris, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for asking. I appreciate the opportunity. We got to get some more authors for you.
We're going to get this thing. Well, let's get some more authors up on this podcast. And if you'd like to join this podcast, we are always looking to talk to new authors. Send me an email, info@thechartedlife.net, and we'll schedule a time for you to come up and talk. It's all Zoom based. We're still COVID compliant, so we're not going to have any studio time, unfortunately. But hey, if you would like to get on the Authors Exchange, join the group, get involved. And hey, big thanks to Cris Pasqueralle.
Thank you. Pasqueralle.
Damn.
There you go.
All right. Cris Pasqueralle, Destiny Revealed. Check it out. It's available on all the major bookstores, and it is a really fun read. Even if you're not a young adult, you can learn a lot of big things about this book, because it's a really fun little read. Thanks for joining me, and we'll be back next week, Fridays at noon, the Authors Exchange. Thanks for watching.